All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're breaking down the completely counterintuitive, hidden psychology of wealth and status. We're drawing from the razor-sharp insights of entrepreneur and thinker Kunal Shah. And honestly, if you think building extreme wealth is just about the daily hustle, or that status just comes down to buying expensive things, well, get ready to have your entire perspective flipped upside down. In this explainer, we're going to dive deep into the biological, social, and psychological frameworks that literally separate the top 1% from everyone else. I am so pumped to share this with you all, so grab a notebook and let's get started. You will never see a wealthy person who is terrible at keeping secrets. Kunal Shah points out this absolutely fascinating pattern. Whenever the second or third generation of a wealthy family loses the ability to just keep a secret, the money inevitably flows right out of their hands. It literally just vanishes. Keeping trust isn't just some nice, polite moral trait. It's actually the entry ticket to the highest echelons of wealth. Just think about how average, powerless individuals operate. They gossip, right? They leak information simply because, well, it's their only currency to appear interesting at a party. But the truly powerful, they operate in a completely different way. They act like highly trusted goldsmiths. People deposit these incredibly valuable, asymmetric insights with them because they know it's safe. They hoard these insights to build immense social capital, not just to show off to their friends. Section 1, the foundation of trust. So, Shah breaks trust down into 4 distinct pillars: integrity, consistency, competence, and benevolence, which really just means acting in a way that isn't totally self-centered. The crucial thing here is that you absolutely need all 4. Think about it like this. Say you go paragliding, and your instructor has high integrity and benevolence, but they happily turn to you and say, "Sir, you're my first client." They are completely missing competence. Do you trust them? No way. Visibly lacking even one of these traits completely shatters your trustworthiness in the marketplace. Section 2. The fear and failure trap. Picture a number in your head. 2,000. Shah astutely observes that today, a young person might get a grand total of 2,000 followers on social media, and suddenly they think they're an A-list celebrity. They let the fear of judgment from this tiny, relatively insignificant audience completely fry their brains. They get totally paralyzed, obsessing over how to look perfectly aesthetic or perfectly unique, instead of taking the messy, embarrassing risks that are actually required to build massive wealth. You know, when faced with the fear of failure, the average reaction is to just shut down. People panic and retreat into a safe little shell. But the elite reaction? It's entirely different. The best entrepreneurs, the most extreme athletes, they actually take that exact same biological fear and they convert it into this weird, obsessive curiosity. It's not that they don't feel fear, they just use it as fuel to launch themselves forward right into the unknown. Here is the honest truth. Shamelessness is an absolutely essential ingredient for success. Shaw argues that modern youth are completely terrified of the shame of double texting someone or the agony of being left on read. But listen, if you want to win, you have to throw all of that right out the window. You have to be completely shameless when you're chasing opportunities, reaching out to mentors, and risking public rejection. Comfort zones are basically just infertile lands. Section 3. Short-term versus long-term. Shah calls this the 2 brains theory of wealth. On one hand, you've got the amygdala, your lizard brain, constantly screaming for short-term survival, instant dopamine, and quick joy. On the other hand, you have the neocortex. That's your evolved brain, the one responsible for long-term rationality, discipline, and actually building wealth. And the kicker is, our modern society, social media, our entire consumer culture, it is all heavily designed to reward and stimulate the amygdala while totally suppressing our neocortex. So what does this look like out in the real world? Well, amygdala-driven behaviors look like craving instant social media likes, buying fast fashion that goes out of style in 2 weeks, or just jumping into internet outrage to feel a quick sense of belonging. Neocortex-driven behaviors, conversely, are all about playing the long game. It's delaying that instant gratification so you can build unshakable respect, deep skills, and true trust. True wealth is really just the ultimate reward for letting your neocortex win. Section 4. Likes versus true respect. There's a really stark contrast here. Pretty much everyone says they want to be respected, right? But their actions usually prove they just want to be liked. Being liked is short-term. You can pull that off just by telling a funny joke at the office or posting a cringe video online. But being respected, that is a serious long-term game. It requires demonstrating extreme, unshakable consistency over a period of years. Because think about it, you might love watching a clown, but you're certainly not going to hand them your life savings to manage. And this mindset actually dictates exactly how we use modern tools like artificial intelligence. The average person uses ChatGPT to seek validation. They'll ask it to rate their idea a 10 out of 10 just to massage their own ego. But the top 1%, they use AI as a ruthless auditor. They feed it their business strategies and explicitly tell it, tell me 5 ways I am wrong. They are actively hunting for their own blind spots because they value real growth and long-term competence way more than short-term ego strokes. Section 5. Insightful versus resourceful. I want you to do a quick audit of yourself right now. Think about your workplace, your family, your life in general. Are you an insightful person or are you a resourceful person? Let's actually break down the difference. Insightful people are incredibly smart. They can analyze a complex situation, write up a perfect white paper, and explain exactly why a problem exists. But resourceful people, they're the ones who actually build massive wealth. They are the individuals who, if they get stuck with a massive legal hurdle or a huge logistics failure, they don't sit down and write a nice essay about it. They hustle, they call in favors, they ignore the obstacles entirely, and they simply make the solution happen. Which perfectly encapsulates this incredible quote from Shaw. There are people who the world happens to, and people who happen to the world. The truly resourceful, ultra-wealthy individuals do not sit back and wait for circumstances to magically align. They do not wait for permission. They unapologetically and relentlessly force their existence and their vision right onto the world. So we finally arrive at our big question for this explainer. Look closely at your daily habits. Look at the way you text, the way you work, and exactly how you process fear. Are you letting your amygdala win by chasing those short-term likes and running away from public failure? Or are you letting your neocortex take the wheel, keeping secrets, being wildly resourceful, and building that unshakable long-term respect? It is literally a biological battle happening inside your head right now. So who is going to win today? Thanks so much for tuning in and keep learning.